Hello viewers of Instagram, Dr. Haworth here. Finished a good and long day, satisfying day, completing a revision 3D Weissmass facelift with an incision in and around and behind the ears to deal with her neck, jowls, and saggy mid-face, which is asymmetrical. Also did a rotational endoscopic brow lift and facial fat transfer. I was quite honored because she went to about 4 or 5 other surgeons in this Beverly Hills region, but it was surprising because a few of the surgeons said fat transfer doesn't work. Well, there's nothing further from the truth. I've been doing this stuff for about 30 years, fat transfer, and fat transfer is a living filler, and it not only provides the structural mechanical properties of adding volume strategically to your face, but also 8 to 9 months later, stem cells kick in. Fat is a source rich of stem cells, your own body stem cells, and that later on is the gift that keeps on giving. Pores get better in the skin. The skin assumes more of a luxuriant, lustrous quality, less brown spots, more of an even homogeneous tone. Why do surgeons say that fat doesn't work? Well, it's probably because they haven't done much of it. Fat has to be done like in vitro fertilization and harvesting eggs with utmost precision and care to maximize the take. In other words, the fat that actually is able to live through the journey, in this case, from her abdomen into her face. And the fat generally has around 72 hours to get a blood supply. So the fat has to be placed in very small little micro burritos so that it's not very far away from any surrounding source of blood vessels. In other words, blood ingrowth, angiogenesis. And also, the fat has to be harvested with very extreme delicacy. You have to do it not with a machine, but with a syringe, very low pressure, teasing it out of the body. The fat then has to be washed and cleaned from its accompanying collagen fibers, which can clog the very delicate cannula that are used to transfer the fat. And so therefore you're pushing harder to squeeze the delicate fat cells through the cannula because it's also competing with big collagen fibers. So it has to be cleaned of fibers, collagen fibers, and blood, which is very inflammatory. And it has to be injected with a good knowledge of the areas in the face that have good vasculature. It has to be injected at right angles as well as parallel to the skin to create the rejuvenative effect as well as the beautification effect that we expect from modern fat transfer. Is it permanent? Absolutely. Once fat gets a blood supply established, as I said, within 72 hours, you're good to go. But generally, you're going to have some swelling. And so patients tend to get that honeymoon period where after the major swelling and bruising is gone, then they have that lustrous glow. And then what happens is that the fat still, the results still are settling in. The fat behind the scenes, the fat that's going to live, is predestined to live, but the swelling goes down. And so patients may forget and come back in and say, oh my God, all the fat has gone, Dr. Haworth. And I said, no, let's look at your pre-op, and now let's take some post-ops. See the difference? Oh. So patients tend to forget what they look like beforehand. So fat is an amazing substance. It's natural, it's permanent.